Have you ever wondered how someone can just disappear into thin air? Today we're unraveling the baffling case of Brandon Swanson. Welcome back to Beyond the Hub podcast. I'm Nick.
And I'm Brandon, not Swanson. I'm Brandon Duckson. Yeah, not a swan, a duck. This case is twists and turns that will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about missing person cases.
So stay with us as we dive into a mystery that's more perplexing than trying to find your car keys when you're already late.
That sucks.
Let's start with a bit of background on Brandon Swanson. Brandon was a 19-year-old college student from Marshall, Minnesota. He is not the son of Joe Swanson from Family Guy, in case you were wondering. He was studying wind turbines in Minnesota West Community and Technical College.
And by all accounts, he was just a regular average guy, known for his love of cars and his passion for renewable energy. But on the night of May 13th, 2008, what a terrible year, Brandon was driving home after celebrating the end of the semester with friends.
And he was heading home to Marshall when his car got stuck in a ditch on a gravel road near the town of Taunton. He called his parents for help, explaining that he was near the town of Lind, but when they arrived, they couldn't find him or his car.
Oh man, this is terrible. This is a parent's worst nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon stayed on the phone with his father for around 47 minutes, trying to guide him to his location. But then out of nowhere, the call abruptly ended, and he was never heard from again.
What do you think could cause someone to vanish so suddenly while on the phone with a loved one? Could it be a tragic accident, loss of cell service, or did something else end the call? Share your thoughts with us, please.
I think the tooth fairy came and got him.
You think so?
Probably. He owed a debt. Tooth fairy never got his teeth when he was a kid, so now he's taking his adult teeth.
That might be the most logical explanation so far.
All the facts point to that. But in all seriousness, a disappearance like that, I've heard of similar stories with like a UFO abduction. Not necessarily someone like getting stuck in a ditch, but like someone's driving down, a backcountry road, not lit, it's dark. It's a very dark night. Their car breaks down all of a sudden. They're like, oh man, what the heck? The car's acting weird. So they pull over and they experience a loss of time where they remember the time when their car broke down off the side of the road to be like 1 o'clock in the morning or something like that. And then when they're back in their car, they don't even realize they were gone. It's like 4, and they're like, what didn't that just say 1? Why does it say 4? What happened in 3 hours? Now you could say that maybe their car's already malfunctioning. Maybe the radio time is malfunctioning on the car's dashboard or whatever. Sure, that's a case there too. You could also say that they are just experiencing a weird lapse of time slip type of thing.
Yeah,
that's possible. But in a lot of the cases where the people do know what happens when they disappear from their car, and then the only way they know how they have had time pass is alien abductions, where they believe the source of their car troubles in the first place was triggered by aliens or a UFO.
So nothing happens by accident.
So, right. So their car experiences trouble. They pull over. They see this. It's 1 o'clock. They're out of their car. They can't figure out what's going on. All of a sudden they see this bright light and now they're on a ship. At least that's what they say. Because I've heard multiple accounts like this. So I'm thinking that maybe in this case it could have been maybe an abduction of some kind.
It's interesting that you bring that up because we might be talking about more of that later. I don't know though.
Interesting.
We'll have to stay tuned. But let's dive into some of the details that night. After his car got stuck, Brandon, he called his parents around midnight, explaining the situation and asking them to pick him up. We're just going through a play-by-play right now.
All right. So then next, during the call, Brandon's dad could hear him walking through fields and over fences. At one point, Brandon mentioned seeing lights, which he thought were from the town of Lind.
Mm-hmm. Now, however, despite Brandon's descriptions, his parents couldn't find him. The last words Brandon uttered before the call ended were, and I quote, "Oh shit." Now, it's chilling to think about what might have happened at that exact moment.
Oh shit! What's that? Like, oh man. The search for Brandon began immediately, and his parents notified the police, and an extensive search ensued involving law enforcement, volunteers, and even search dogs, and maybe some search velociraptors.
Mm-hmm.
Just kidding, I added that last part. So imagine being in Brandon's shoes. Not mine.
You don't even have to imagine, buddy.
But okay, that's fair. All of you out there not named Brandon, imagine being in Brandon, not myself's shoes, alone in the dark, disoriented, and trying to find your way.
Mm.
What would you do in that situation? How would you try to seek help? Let us know your thoughts.
Was the thing about being lost is stay put, right?
I think so.
So, I mean, yeah, I know he was in a ditch, but like, why was he wandering in the woods in the first place?
So
he had a cell phone.
So he can get his, well, this is 2008, so you got to think the cell phones back then, they were still cell phones, but like that's when they just started getting into smartphone territory, around 2005 to 2008, somewhere around there. Like, cause like when I was in high school, the big thing was, this is like 2009, 10, like the iPod Touch just came out. I think when this was probably 2009. That was like groundbreaking, and cell phones weren't able to do that. Cell phones were regular cell phones. You could call someone. Some cell phones had like basic get on the internet type things where you could go in a web browser, but there was no like apps or anything like that. You could just make a phone call, really. So he tried to make a phone call. He did succeed in making the phone call, but then he disappeared.
It's so weird. Like even if you were back there in that time, like, why would you want to leave unless he saw a house that's right there? Maybe that'd be the only way I would go and venture off.
If I was in an area that, like, let's say I was traveling somewhere via GPS and I'm not familiar with the area, and my car gets stuck in a ditch similar, and now I have no cell service and I can't bring up a map to see where I'm at. I have no idea where I'm at. I need to orient myself to figure out when I ask for help how to tell them my location. So in that case, I would get out of my vehicle, walk around, look for the nearest landmark, a street sign, a house. Maybe I can knock on the door and say, hey, I just broke down. I mean you no harm. Can you just tell me where I am so I can get some help? Something like that. Or could you call 911 for me? I'd be looking for something like that. So like I would stay put, like if I'm lost in the woods.
But he did mention that he was jumping fences, so that indicates that it's something man-made is nearby. So I'm wondering why he didn't follow that.
That's true.
I think something led him off.
Well, it sounded like he was in a field and jumping fences.
Yeah.
Maybe he was lured there by whatever entities I have a suspicion took him.
No, the search for Brandon was exhaustive. I mean, authorities scoured the area where his phone was last pinged, which was several miles away from where he thought he was.
See? And this search involved helicopters, ATVs, and hundreds of volunteers, search dogs, no velociraptors. Despite these efforts, no trace of Brandon has ever been found. Not his phone, not his clothes, not a hair off his head, nothing.
I mean, one of the most perplexing things about this is that there were no signs of a struggle. There was no evidence to pointing to foul play, and there's no leads to follow. The only thing that indicates anything strange are his last words.
And to know, he was actively seeking help to try to, get out of that situation. So it's not like we can say there's a chance that he was just trying to run away or just disappear himself and assume a new identity or anything like last episode. Like, he was actively seeking help. So he was like, oh no, I'm in crisis. I need help. So it's not like he willingly did this.
Yeah.
But over the years, various theories have emerged, but none have provided concrete answers. And that makes this a case that continues to haunt those involved in the search and the investigation.
No asphalt answers or concrete answers.
If I gotta be corny, you gotta be corny. That's how it goes, right?
What do you think could have happened to Brandon Swanson? Could he have fallen into a hidden crevice or like a water source? Or is there another explanation? We'd love to hear your theories.
I mean, an accident could have happened. Maybe there was a giant, ditch or something, or a well that wasn't plugged up.
And that's where he was saying, oh shit.
Yeah, and he falls down.
He fell into it.
The last word he says is, oh shit, he falls, he dies, and they can't find him.
Phone breaks. Yeah.
It's possible. I mean, that's just a way to try to explain without getting into the paranormal, but I'm going to lean towards aliens.
And back then too, batteries on phone or like your phone, like it would ping. Like now you can't take the batteries out of a phone, but if you took a battery out of a phone back then, you wouldn't be able to track its location.
Yep.
So that kind of indicates that. So if he did fall or something and then his phone broke and let's say the battery came out, you wouldn't be able to find his phone.
No, not at all. And they could very well be missing the area where if he did fall and he unfortunately tragically passed, and his phone fell apart and broke and stuff, like if that is the truth to this case, the answer, that doesn't mean that they were able to find any evidence of that still, no matter how hard they search, because you could search crazy and not find what you're looking for.
But let's actually explore some of these theories surrounding his disappearance. I mean, one possibility is that he fell into a river or a creek and drowned, unfortunately. I mean, the Yellow Medicine River runs through the area where his phone was last pinged.
And contrary to its name, just because it's named the Yellow Medicine River doesn't necessarily mean if you fall in there you can't drown because it's medicine. No, it's a river. It's a river. But
we have to out-corn each other.
Another theory suggests foul play. Some speculate that Brandon might have encountered someone with ill intentions, though there's no evidence to support that one.
Oh, that's a good point too. If he was helping someone's fence in someone else's land, it could have. What are you doing here? Oh shit!
Yeah, that's
I don't know.
That's true.
I don't know, but there's also the possibility of disorientation and exposure, like being disoriented in the dark. He could have succumbed to the elements, especially considering like how cold the temperatures get at night too. He might not have been prepared for that.
Yeah. And then there's the idea that Brandon could have wandered much farther than initially thought. From where he thought he was. The search area might not have been extensive enough to cover where he ended up. Exactly my point that I was just making. Like maybe they missed him.
Okay, now, what about him seeing those lights, and then he just so happens to say, oh shit, as his last words? Hello? Does that, I mean, like you're saying before, does that not sound like a possible alien abduction?
Yes, it does to me.
He thought he was seeing these lights from a town, just so happened to. That's my theory.
That's mine too. Like, I'm gonna go with that one because I want to.
Because I want.
But what about you guys? What theory do you find most convincing? Could Brandon have fallen victim to foul play, a tragic accident, or was he abducted by aliens? We're eager to hear your thoughts and theories.
Aliens.
I'm going with aliens. I'm sticking with it. I said it earlier. I'm gonna say it again. That's what I'm sticking with.
Lights, cameras,
action. See, you can't out-corn the Cornmeister. That was corny as corn.
Despite the years that have passed, Brandon Swanson's family continues the search for answers. They've kept his story alive, advocating for better search and rescue protocols and missing person policies.
And this case has garnered significant public interest, with online communities and amateur detectives still discussing and analyzing every detail, however little there is. However, the mystery of Brandon's disappearance remains.
This case reminds us all the challenges and heartbreaks of like missing person investigations in general.
Yeah, I think we said this last episode, but it's just so crazy how quickly someone can vanish, leaving behind more questions than answers.
I mean, have you ever followed a missing persons case? And what do you think happened to Brandon? share your thoughts with us and any theories you might have. I mean, anything could help find this man.
I mean, I'm right here. So
Brandon, we found no, that's messed up. That's messed up.
That's it. No, but
we found him.
In all seriousness, 2008 to 2024. That's what, 16 years?
Mm-hmm.
So 16 years not being able to be found. It's tragic, but I doubt he's alive if they find him.
So where his area pinged, obviously he's either disappeared in another, or has another life somewhere, or his body's there somewhere. Maybe, I mean, the phones back then, even when they did ping, it wasn't the best quality of what it is now.
Yeah, well, what if he like fell into like a pitfall trap or something that led to a secret underground tunnel that goes to the secret underground civilization of reptile people? And then they're just like, look at you. You're a surface dweller. You must remain down here with us for our zoo.
Get the police chief on the line. We need to tell him about this. No, I think if you find the phone, I think you're going to find him.
Yeah.
Possibly. Unless he fell and then he went into the river and went down further. But I think if you find the phone, you're going to have a good indication where he is. But that is a wrap on our second episode in our mysterious disappearance series. Brandon Swanson's case is one that will continue to keep me thinking.
Absolutely. And tomorrow we're going to be diving into the mysterious case of Emanuela Orlandi. Yet another disappearance that baffled us.
It's going to be yet another intriguing episode. So make sure you join us, because your theories and comments fuel our discussions. If you would, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, click that little bell, and share your thoughts below.
And the exploration continues. We cannot wait to have you back for even more revelations. Don't miss out. Episode 3 will be airing tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you're new here, check out our previous episodes where we attempt to unravel other mysteries. The link will be in the description below. And be sure to stay curious and keep seeking the truth.
Until next time, this is Beyond the Hub podcast, where the realms of the paranormal and conspiracies collide. And the truth is waiting to be unveiled. We'll see you soon.
Take care, everybody. I'm looking for a velociraptor.